and Upstate.
Game day, baby! Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. ESPN Upstate proudly presents your one time SCBA Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. The Rob Brown Show. Rob, Lonzo, how do you do? Upstate South Carolina, and of course, streaming to the rest of the world. Great to be with you. Good to be back on the show. I am Rob Brown, directly across from me, the guy in charge of the broadcast every single day, the one that earns the trophies that I then take to my apartment and display on a shelf proudly. He is the great one, Colonel Grudge, hashtag Dad Kicks, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate, the conductor of the Symphony of Sound. That is the Rob Brown Show on the daily basis. He is the pinnacle of professionalism and, in various mornings here and there, a tormentor of sorts, as my heart rate has finally plummeted back down to a normal, quasi-normal state. Came around the corner this morning, walking into work, opened the door, and there's Lonzo's face, which is this horror movie style smile. Good morning. Scared the hell out of me, man.
All right, so let's picture this, because this is not an apt description of actually what happened. I was heading back to the other studio that I'm working in, and Rob, the door was opening, so I was going to greet whoever was coming through the door. And so I took a step back into the hallway to say hi to whoever it is, because we have limited staff. So chances are anyone coming through the door would be someone that I know and also like. And then Rob, who's distracted because he's on the phone, he looks up and sees me. I'm 4 feet away from him, but he's implied that I was like right at the door with my face at the door, which I would not do, even if I wanted to jump scare Rob, which I know is susceptible to such things, because I don't want him to fall down the stairs, which he might do. And that would be bad. And I think I could be held liable. So I would not do such a thing. It's not my fault you're jumpy. I go out of my way to not scare you. I have gone out of my way to not scare you.
So, as I was coming up the stairs, I was on the phone. And as anyone who has met me in person knows, I'm not a quiet individual. And knowing that if you are standing at that door, you can hear someone having a phone call in the stairwell, I don't believe for a lickety-split second that Lonzo didn't know it was me coming through the door. Don't believe it for a second. He knew exactly who it was, and he set himself up. He was in the perfect, because he knows jump scares sometimes, you get the old ninja reaction. He was just out of arm's length. Just at arm's length. He knew what he was doing.
Listen, Shaquille, your arm reach is not as far as you think it is. I was further away than that. And there is a chance that maybe I heard your voice coming up the stairwell.
Chance. About a 99% of one.
It's a possibility. There were other people talking. There were a couple people in the newsroom speaking. And you could have been in the newsroom. Because I don't listen for a living or anything, so I wouldn't know exactly how to pinpoint where you were and things. I just, and then you got to be all hurtful and call me the crypt keeper and stuff. And, this was pretty hurtful. So it's to the point where I went in and I pulled out my camera and I looked at my hair and was like, maybe he's right. And so if you're watching on the stream right now on ESPN Upstate, you will see that my hair is up.
It's game day, y'all. Panthers, Texans tonight. This one's going to be down in H-Town. Texter says, Rob, it's okay. I have EJD as well. Excessive jumpiness disorder. Yeah, I don't think that's a real thing. But if it is, I definitely have it.
There's probably a phobia. I'm going to find it so you can be labeled.
Carolina on the road tonight at Houston. The Injury list will come out obviously an hour before kickoff. We do have an idea of some folks that will be in and out and available and not. So we're going to break that game down later on. It is Thursday, and you know what that means. Time for Lonzo and I go on the record with our college and NFL picks this past weekend. I went 10-6, Zoe an even 500 at 8-8 on the year. Rob 20-19, Zoe 19-20. So we're both right at 500, which is where most people ought be. Right at where you want to be. We'd like to get up to about 60-65% by the end of the year. We'll see if we can make up some ground in our picks this week. That's coming up in the second hour of the show. Coming up at 12:35. We're going to be joined by Mr. Michael Pius. Michael is the president. Michael is the president of the First Tee of the Upstate. Good dude. Love Mike. Had the opportunity to talk to him a handful of times. He's a great dude. And they have a very, very, very cool thing coming up at Floor Field tomorrow and Saturday. You all right over there, buddy? You missed the armrest?
No, I didn't miss it. I just had something on it that caused it to slip.
He almost took himself out. Very cool event going on at Floor Field on Friday and Saturday. We're going to tell you all about it. And at 12:35, you are going to have the opportunity to win a chance to hit some golf balls around Floor Field, including, Zoe, hitting a golf ball off of the top of the Green Monster there at Floor Field. Pretty rad. Pretty rad.
You're not aiming it towards the apartments or anything that's around there.
Not intentionally.
Okay.
But I've seen how some folks golf.
So if you were to slice, I'm
interested. Let's just put it this way. I've seen how Diesel hits the golf ball. I'm interested to see where they elected to put nets up. All right. That's all I'm going to say. That's coming up 12:35, 1 o'clock. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast is going to join us. First game day we've got to talk to Rashad on. That'll be at 1 o'clock. All of that and more coming up. Texture says ESPN not in a spot where I can listen live today, but wanted to remind you about the Sports Betting 101 segment. Cheers. We'll try to catch the podcast later today. Well, how about that? Gosh, Alonzo, if there was only a way that going back and listening to the segments of the show that you missed was easy, convenient, and quick. Like, I don't know, ESPNUpstate.com. Click on the podcast section in the middle of the page. Click on the Rob Brown Show, and every hour of the show is podcasted within just a handful of minutes of us getting off the air. How about that?
Or since you're not in the listening area, you could also use the Odyssey app and listen to us live on the Odyssey app, or you can access the podcasts on the Odyssey app.
Correct. See, we just we give you multiple.
Or let me give you one more. If you are indeed on Facebook or YouTube, you could go back and you could watch the show when we're done. You could do that.
That is correct. I told you, folks, we're just here to make your life easier. That's what we do.
We embrace technology on this program.
That is correct as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I have but one item on the lunch breakdown today. Let's get to it.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys hear? Scuttlebutt.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Ladies and gentlemen, I lied. I have two items on the lunch breakdown. One of them, you know what, Lonzo? I'm going to consider this. I'm going to do it. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Netflix has announced, Lonzo, that Tiger King Season 2 is on the way. It is official. We are getting a second season of Tiger King. It is going to be headed back to Netflix coming up very shortly. Tiger King Season 2 on the way. Congratulations, Lonzo. I know that you had been talking about it. I know that Tiger King was absolutely a fascination of yours. I know that back last year when Tiger King was the phenomenon sweeping the nation. You were a huge fan. You have been talking about it on the air ever since. You have been waiting for this moment, and now it is here. Joe Exotic and friends make his way back to the television screen. Congratulations, Zoe. I know you've been waiting on it, and your time to shine has arrived.
Since we are an audio medium and you can't see what this is, let me just say yawn.
What do you mean yawn?
Yawn.
It's Tiger King season 2.
Yeah. King season 1 made it through like 2 episodes and was like, okay, I don't get why this is so popular. Let me find something good to watch.
Hater. Joe Exotic is back, boys. Tiger King season 2 on the way from Netflix. But in more serious sporting news, we have officially learned that the NCAA Board of Commissioners, in charge of the potential for playoff expansion, has decided to delay the vote on doing so. Heather Dinich of ESPN reporting that the College Football Playoff Board of Managers, which is comprised of 11 presidents and chancellors who have the authority to change the playoff, will not vote next week on a proposed 12-team format, further delaying any major changes to the current 4-team field. The board was originally scheduled to meet with the 10 FBF commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick on September 28th in Illinois. The members' flights were booked. The hotel rooms were set, but after some of the commissioners raised numerous issues on a call last week and again at a meeting in Dallas on Wednesday, they opted to continue working before making a recommendation to the presidents for their approval. The commissions and Swarbrick will still meet in the Chicago area next week, but the presidents and chancellors will now join them by Zoom for all or part of the meeting. Jack Swarbrick told ESPN yesterday, quote, "I think we can continue to keep them informed and they'll decide when they're prepared to vote. It's ultimately their decision. We thought there remained some issues to be addressed and it would be important for us to address them before we make a recommendation or ask them to act," end quote. We are in the 8th of a 12-year contract for the current 4-team season. It runs through 2025. It is still possible that the playoff format changes before the end of the contract. And if that were to happen, ESPN would have first rights of refusal for any new games. But if ESPN declined to take those rights, the CFP can then take them to the open market. Sources have said a vast majority of commissioners want to have multiple television partners, but the only way for that to happen within the current contract is for ESPN to agree to it. College Football Playoff Executive Director Bill Hancock told ESPN yesterday that, quote, "There's no rush." He said, quote, "We have time because if we want to change the format in 2024, we'd have a few months. If we wanted to change it in 2026, we have a couple of years. There's not a set timeline. It will be up to the presidents to decide that, but there's no rush," end quote. Now, yesterday, the news broke on ESPN that the college football playoff commissioners and presidents and chancellors, and also Jack Swarbrick, all of them together had decided not to voice support for an 8-team playoff model. People started freaking out. Started saying, hey, wait a minute. Does that mean expansion's dead? No to an 8-team playoff model. Does that mean expansion's dead? I sent out a tweet, I believe on ESPN's Twitter, that said, hold your horses. Everybody relax, take a deep breath. This does not mean that expansion's not happening. It does not mean that expansion isn't on the way. What it means is that we already knew a thing, right? We already knew a thing. We knew that the support for an expansion was geared at a 12-team system. The expansion plan from the beginning has been in place, but we knew that they were looking at expanding to a 12-team model. It was never explicitly said that they wanted a 12-team model, but Lonzo, let's play the Rob Brown Show home edition here. If you have 12 teams in a playoff instead of 8, what do you have more of?
I'm going to go with money.
That is correct. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Probably not money.
Correct, Johnny. We're in radio. Yeah. That's a fact. They put in 12, they make more cash. The plan has always been to get to 12. I thought, and I told you this when this expansion talk really got hot and heavy last year into the offseason, I thought that if there is an 8-team expansion, that 8-team expansion was only going to be as a stepping stone to get to 12. 12 was the number they want. 12 is the number they're working towards getting to. And if they went to 8, it would have only been to look at all the people who said no to 12 when the money was rolling in and say, hey, look, you guys didn't want to go to 12. You were concerned about the money. Here's the 8-team paycheck. Multiply that by another 33%. And that's what's coming in. Because as we talked about yesterday with Lynn J. Dixon leaving Clemson, transferring out, you can have all the good emotion, all the good feeling, all the love and celebration in the world. But as the great $1 million man Ted DiBiase once said, Zoe, everybody's got a price. Everybody's got to pay. There's a number. There's a number. And if ESPN won't pay it, Fox and CBS and other sports networks, you had better believe will come to the offering plate.
Or, and this would bother a lot of people, and maybe not, a streaming service will take it.
Possibility, I don't know. I don't know if there's a streaming service that would have the money to where the bid would be higher than what ESPN would put on the table to buy it, right? If ESPN goes to the CFB and says, yeah, no, you know what, we decided not worth it. And they take it to the open market and Fox and CBS get in, NBC gets in, there's no streaming service that's going to be able to financially compete with those outlets. And the ones that do, it's only because they're already connected. Now, could like NBC buy it and go, and we're going to put these games on Peacock? And you got to have Peacock Premium to get it? Maybe. But I doubt it. There's too much money to be made on cable.
Or Hulu, who's already talking about they have live sports. You see that in all of their ads.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's do this. We're going to come back to that, talk a little bit about that later on in the show. We've got a lot to get to. I want to stay on the clock today. My name is Rob Brown. The great Alonzo is at the helm. Carolina v. Houston. We're going to start breaking that game down next, right here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show.
Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker.
Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. A busy weekend for NASCAR in Las Vegas. The trucks will run on Friday night, the Xfinity Series on Saturday, and then the Cup Series coming up on Sunday with the South Point 400, the first race since the Cup Series at playoff field was cut.
Stephen, I believe it's the latter, not the former, but Rob would have to address that.
His 750th career start this weekend at Las Vegas. He has one win there. Kyle Larson won there earlier this year. Kyle Busch has one win there. But Brad Keselowski has the most wins of active drivers at Las Vegas at Wings, etc. While Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr.
We'll be live at 6:30. And if anybody would like to come sit at the table with me, drop me a message. I'll save you guys a table at the VIP spot.
Thanks, Stephen. No, really, thanks. I appreciate it. Did you ever get a response text?
No, I did not. So I'll call him again after the show.
Okay. Just curious.
Because obviously we're down to just one day left for me to be there.
Yeah, true. Unless, of course, like after the show, they say he can do it, but he can only record it right now. In which case we could do it.
Right.
Restorative regenerative therapies are available here, and the in-office consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. Non-surgical joint pain relief, 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772.
Keegan, I'm one of the people who really get that and think it's funny.
Keegan told me yesterday in text, I said, I apologize to him for not responding to a text he sent earlier in the week. And he said, if I got offended when you didn't return a text, we wouldn't be friends. If I don't respond immediately, I forget. That's just how it goes.
Houston dropped the game to the Browns last week and saw Tyrod Taylor replaced by rookie Davis Mills due to a hamstring injury. Dave Nash and Mike Golick will have the call of the Panthers at the Texans on Thursday Night Football.
Get ready for the game with more details and preview at WestwoodOneSports.com.
That's cool. I thought Golick was only doing college. Don't listen to that.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones. With O'Reilly Auto Parts, a clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Nothing goes better with movie, game, or family night than a Moe's meal kit. Well, maybe our famous case comes in every kit with your choice of premium proteins and fresh ingredients. Our nacho, taco, and fajita kits will silence even the pickiest of eaters. Plus, there's no dish duty because when you've had a hard day, Moe's meal kits make it an easy night. Order through Moe's.com or the Moe's app. Welcome to Moe's!
This feature is sponsored by Dell. Dell's semi-annual sale for business has arrived. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 10 Pro. Enjoy specials on Dell docks, monitors, and servers. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL to speak to a Dell Technologies advisor. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought...
Tell me that's not real. Ohio State will rest C.J. Stroud against Akron and only use the starting quarterback in an emergency role.
Well, you guys are 49.
Yeah, but how about a chance for him to work on his accuracy?
I agree with that. Is it an injury or is it just...
No, or is it a chance to play the backup
and see what he
to
does?
see?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. If that works, Clemson will be doing it next.
Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Coming up here in about 7 minutes, we're going to talk to Michael Pius of the First Tee of the Upstate. Very cool organization that I have. I worked with the First Tee of Northwest Florida back down in Pensacola. As soon as I got here, found out there was a First Tee. Wanted to be able to work with them as well. So Michael Pius is going to join us coming up here in just a few minutes to tell us about a very cool event that is going on Friday and Saturday at Floor Field, right in the heart of downtown Gville. Lonzo, you had a little bit of breaking news there during the segment, during the break.
Yeah, I'm trying to confirm, but I'm pretty sure that is true. That according to sources, Ohio State is going to set C.J. Stroud against Akron this weekend, and only use him in an emergency role. And this is a curious thing, because you would think with his accuracy issues that they would want to get him some more work, unless they don't think that's a problem.
According to Dan Hope, who is a writer for 11 Warriors, which is the oh goodness, what outlet? They're connected to one of the outlets. Anyway, Dan Hope of 11 Warriors, who covers Ohio State as a beat writer, said Ryan Day has reported C.J. Stroud has taken the last couple of days off of practice due to a shoulder injury, and that Ohio State is planning for Kyle McCord and Jack Miller to play at quarterback on Saturday, with Stroud available in an emergency capacity. A shoulder injury being reported as the reason. There are some folks, and I wonder if Lonzo is one of them, that wonder if maybe the mild shoulder injury is being utilized as a, lack of a better word, excuse to run the back out there and see, run the back up out there and see if they can do better than C.J. Stroud.
I think that's a possibility. It is a concern that there are two quarterbacks they're going to play, because that means they're not real certain about who the real backup is. If one of these guys gets out there and they catch on fire, and it is Akron, and it shouldn't be that much of a problem, but with Ohio State's defense, who knows? You get one of those guys out there and they're just lighting it up, and they're accurate, and their balls don't sail like what happens with Stroud. You got to wonder if maybe that shoulder injury lasts for more than 1 week.
There's the old phrase, Lonzo. Quarterbacks can't lose their jobs to injury.
Ask Drew Bledsoe about that.
Correct. Ask a lot of quarterbacks about that. You know what you
ask
lose?
Tyrod Taylor about that.
Yeah, ask Tyrod Taylor. It's done back-to-back seasons. Dude's lost his job due to injury. The reality of a situation here is that you lose your job if somebody comes in and does it better than you. You tell a guy you can't lose your job due to injury so that he works hard and he rehabs hard and he makes himself back to 100%. You tell a guy that that's not going to happen, but here's the reality. If C.J. Stroud's out with a shoulder injury and Kyle McCord / Jack Miller come up and light it up, you may very well have already seen the last of C.J. Stroud. The problem with that, Zoe,
it's Akron.
Yeah. Bingo. Problem with that is it's Akron. If he goes up there, next segment. If he goes up there, okay. If he goes up there and tears up Akron, it just is what it is. We'll talk more about that coming up later in the show. We got to take a real quick break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, Michael Pius is the director of the First Tee of the Upstate, an organization I've enjoyed working with since I got here. They got a very cool event coming up Friday and Saturday at Floor Field. You're going to get to have a very unique experience with this setup at Floor Field, and we're going to give one of you a chance to win a tee time to knock some rocks around Floor Field. We'll talk about that coming up next with Michael Pius at the First Tee of the Upstate right here on ESPN Upstate. I saw you. So I thought you slid them up to put them on the air.
No. Normally, we keep that down because it doesn't have to. It doesn't matter either way.
I thought you were telling me. I was like, oh no, not yet. We're all good.
When life is hectic and you're rushing to get dinner together, do you
Prepare a perfectly grilled flat iron steak on a bed of mashed potatoes, green beans, and sauteed carrots with a crab.
doubt it? But you could enjoy that meal with Freshly. Chef-crafted dinners delivered to you fresh. Freshly chefs cook nutritious meals from fresh whole food ingredients and deliver them right to your door.
You don't happen to know how to spell his last name, do you?
Pius.
And enjoy. There's no prep, no cooking, no cleaning, no stress. And now get $40 off your first 2 weeks when you text HUNGRY to 484848. No matter how long or rushed your day is, whether you're working from home or wrangling the kids, you can still enjoy a delicious chef-crafted meal delivered fresh from Freshly. Now get $40 off your first 2 weeks when you text HUNGRY to 484848. That's HUNGRY to 484848 for your discounts. Text HUNGRY to 484848.
Woo-wee! These deals are hot, red hot. Ghost pepper grown at the center of the sun hot. These red hot deals are lighting up your local Ingles this Friday and Saturday. Ingles, low prices, love the red hot savings.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
The greatest of all time, the GOAT. Most of the time this comes up when speaking about sports, but let's talk about your future wife. She is the GOAT in your eyes, and when it's time to make her your wife and tell her you truly love her, Skatels will be there to guide you through your ring buying journey. Free customization, financing, and a lifetime warranty are all part of the Skatels experience, one you truly will appreciate. Start your engagement ring journey at skatelsjewelers.com.
It's the Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon, the annual year-long event where you can save big by bundling Home and Auto with Progressive. So big that we're kicking things off with fireworks, a monster truck battle, a fighter jet flyover, and it wouldn't be a party without the Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon dancers. You can't really hear them, but trust us, they are working it. So come for the fun and stay for the saving. Only at Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon.
We're short of PCO. New customers have Emery's exterminator business buzzing. She needs new specialists to tackle a swarm of appointments.
Norwegian tree mouse. That's a first.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Someone's got a new handle on Facebook. You should look at the stream. It's the second to last.
Funny enough, it's not clowns. I'm not afraid of clowns. I mean, if that clown jumps around, I'm afraid of anything. You could like take a Barbie doll and shove it around a corner and it would scare me, but it's the jump scare, not the object in question. Creepy clown person. Though I do respect that you went out of your way to create a handle just for that. Love our listeners. Oh, Steven. You're on to something.
Golf cart in the next break.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob Brown. Lonzo on the ones and twos today. And to the phone lines we go. We welcome in a gentleman we've had on the air a couple of times. It has been a pleasure to get to know him and work with him. He is the executive director of the First Tee of the Upstate. Mr. Michael Pius joins us here on the Rob Brown Show. Mike, what's up, fella? How you been, buddy?
Hey, Rob. Yeah, good. We're getting ready for a big event here at Fluor Field. I'm actually at Fluor Field right now, prepping for the big 2 days coming up Friday and Saturday. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what you guys have going on. People are going to get to hit golf balls around Fluor Field. You guys are kind of turning Fluor Field into the world's most unique driving range, so to speak.
Yeah. It's, some of your viewers may have gone to a couple stadiums around the area. I know Bank of America did something with Top Golf there. William Bryce down at USC, I think, did something that was kind of like a driving range setting. This is more of almost like a golf course experience. You're not going to be putting on Friday and Saturday here, but you are going to be hitting shots to different targets in the outfield. There's going to be 6 different hitting stations across the stadium. 2 of them are really unique. One, I'm looking at the Green Monster right now. We have a stage that is being built, a platform being built on top of the Green Monster. So you hit 3 shots from each one of the stations, 2 in left field, 1 on the Green Monster, 2 in right field, kind of in the stands, and then 1 from home plate out to, again, there's 3 targets in the outfield that you'll be hitting towards. We're going to score the event. We'll have winners. We've got some great sponsors. Our title sponsor this year is Haas Family Golf Center, stepped up to be our title sponsor. So we're really excited for this very, like you said, very unique event that we're going to have Friday and Saturday.
Michael Pius from the First Tee of the Upstate joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. So before folks, and I'm making an assumption here, and this is one of those things I wish I didn't have to say, Mike, but I know people like me. We're not going to be ripping drivers off of home plate trying to go Mookie Betts on this. Is it going to be like, are there like targets set up around the field to shoot at? Like, what are we aiming at here?
Yeah. So we're going to have almost kind of like greens that you'll be hitting towards in the outfield. So left field, center field, right field. They'll be kind of outlined by some, little yard flags. Then we'll also have a 30-foot diameter target within that kind of green area. So even at night, we've got tee times at night. Everything is going to glow. So we're going to have glow golf balls, glowing targets in the outfield, and then we'll score it. So if you hit the large target, you get a birdie. We also have these small golf targets out there too. That's an eagle. If you hit it on the kind of the green, the quote unquote green, that's a par. And then anywhere else in the field is a bogey. So we'll have scoring going on with it. You purchase tee times like you normally would at like a typical golf course. We've got tee times every 15 minutes. And Friday we've got tee times starting at noon, going all the way until 9:30 at night. And it'll take about an hour to play the kind of 6 hitting stations. And like I said, you're going to be hitting 3 golf balls from each hitting station. That equals up to 18 holes of golf. Also during the day, those daytime tee times will include a hot dog, hamburger, and a drink, or you can do 2 beers with that. The fee is $50 during the day, and then $75 during the glow golf experience, and that includes an open bar. So you get a lot. You get a nice little goodie bag with some cool stuff in it. Golf towel and some golf balls, and we've got Jim Beam that's going to be out here serving drinks. So it's going to be a great party to come out to.
So the glow golf portion of this seems like it's going to be very cool. It's nighttime golf. Gonna be lit up a little bit, but it's kind of it's the cosmic bowling of golfing, I guess, that you guys said, to make it even a little bit more unique than it already is hitting balls around a baseball field.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We're just trying to make it very creative, very unique, something different that you've never really experienced. Even those non-golfers, listeners out there that haven't played golf, haven't tried it out. This is a no stress place. So even if you want to just come out and hang out and have some cocktails, have watch the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup is this weekend. We're going to have that on the Jumbotron. You can come out, hang out, have some food, have some drinks, and then you're probably going to look around and you're going to be like, I need to get a tea time. And hopefully we'll have some available tea times open for some people to just walk in and check it out.
Michael Pius is the executive director of the First Tee of the Upstate. All of this sounds, like we said, a unique, incredible experience and one you're not going to get anywhere else. If people want to book a tee time, if they want to come out and swing the sticks a little bit, Michael, where can they go to get signed up?
Sure. Yeah. It's firstteeupstate.org/the links. Also, you can go onto our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, all at First Tee Upstate. You can check out our post there, and that'll get you to the correct website to purchase your tee times. And what I got to say is just, this is obviously a fundraiser for us, and for, what we do is we reach out to kids and we impact their lives through teaching them, life skills and healthy habits through the game of golf. So those viewers that don't really know our mission, might have seen a commercial or two. We've got over 730 kids in our program this year. We've got about 60,000 kids going through the school program that we're partnered with Cherokee, Spartanburg, Greenville, and Anderson County. So we have a big program. We need to do these big events so that we can keep impacting the lives of young people all across the upstate.
And let's real quick, I just wanted to remind people, because we've talked about it in the past, but one of the reasons I've loved as a golf fan, as a golfer, one of the things I love about what you guys do is that you give opportunities for kids not just to learn the game of golf. I mean, it's not like you guys are just handing out lessons, but about learning how to live through the golf. I mean, you and I have talked about this both on and off the air. Golf is a tremendous sport to learn patience and perseverance and discipline and dedication, because it's a sport that requires all of that. So you guys provide an opportunity for these kids not just to learn the game of golf, but to learn life lessons through the game of golf, and do it for kids that might not otherwise have the access or opportunity to play the game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have, that's part of our mission, is really to reach out to kids that wouldn't typically have access to the game. And then also the beauty is that everything that we teach, honesty, integrity, sportsmanship, it's all inherent in the game of golf. And we don't really need to preach to kids or sit them down and lecture about these life skills. It's just something that comes out of the game. And those listeners out there that have played golf, you don't use that foot wedge, right? That's integrity. You want to write down the correct score on the scorecard. There's honesty. You get stuck behind a tree, you got to persevere and you got to get through it. And so a lot of those lessons that we teach, they're just part of the game. And that's the beauty of it, is we're growing the game. And we're also growing, the next best citizens of our country and all across the world now. The First Tee is in a bunch of other countries now too, doing programming. And we just keep growing here locally. Like I mentioned, we're in Cherokee, Spartanburg, Greenville, and Anderson County right now. And we're looking to expand hopefully next year into Pickens and Oconee County. So, if you can't make it out to Floorfield this weekend, but still want to help out, please reach out to us. Just go on our website, firstteeupstate.org, and you can help out by fundraising for us or even volunteering if you're interested. We're always looking for good volunteers. So, we're looking forward to this big event this weekend, and hopefully people will come out and have a good time. One other thing that just came up yesterday, we actually got a car there's going to be a shootout from home plate. You can hit a shot to get a chance to win a 3-year lease of an Audi Q5 too. So you want to come out and be a part of that too.
Love it. It is going to be tomorrow and Saturday at Fluor Field. The links at Fluor Field, you are going to play 18 holes of golf inside of Fluor Field, including hitting a shot off the top of the green monster. You can go to firstteeupstate.org. Click on the link there. You can get signed up. I will be going by, Mike. I'm going to be coming by to see you guys tomorrow. I'm getting off the air. I'm doing my work, and I'm coming to smack some balls around Fluor Field, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be an awesome time. Man, I wish you guys the best of luck. We're going to send some folks out your way. Can't wait to see how it goes off, partner.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks again for having us on.
Absolutely, Michael. My pleasure. That is Michael Pius, the executive director of the First Tee of the Upstate. And as we go to break, I have got one tee time to give away. I got one tee time to give away. So as we go to break, I'm going to take, you pick, what's the number, Zoe? You got to answer the phone. What's the number here? Caller number 3. Caller number 3 right now to 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. Caller number 3 right now, you are going to win a tee time to slam the rock around Fluor Field tomorrow or Saturday, your choice. Caller number 3 right now to 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. You're going to win a tee time to the links at Fluor Field. You're going to get to knock some balls around Fluor Field. We're back after this right here on ESPN Upstate.
Are you going to call them or? If you feel like it, do 2.
Yeah.
But if you do 2, then I'll just have to turn it into multi. I mean, I can fix it.
So I'll cut a hand. I'll cut 2 or 3 of them. That way you can rotate through them if you want, if that's easier.
Yeah, more work.
So,
Actually, it's probably better for the client if you cut multiple.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It makes it sound more live if you do that.
Yeah.
Just instead of you putting them in, tell me where they are and give me the. Have you also requested your live list and told them that you're off next week?
Yeah, they sent me. Hendricks just sent me an email with it.
Okay.
Fisher Investments is a fiduciary. The highest standard for financial.
So what I'll have to do is I'll have to turn the things that are the regular cart numbers, make that cart number actually a rotator.
Yeah.
And then put multiple ones
Okay.
in there.
All right, I'll cut a few of all of them then.
Or you can do all that. I mean, it's what you want to do. If you need me, if you decide you want to do it, I'll show you how. If you don't already know how, because you might, I don't know. I do that with my health there, so I have like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It does sound better that way.
Wait for Upstate Sports Junkies. These pathetic junkies.
Texter says ESPN, Rob, the way I play, I can hit off the green monster and still break a window in the apartments behind me, but it's not my fault. My clubs suck. I'd like to thank Bryson DeChambeau for texting into the show. Good to have you listen. And Bryson, need you getting ready for the Ryder Cup, though. Savannah Lee, our golf insider, is going to join us tomorrow on the show for day 1 of the Ryder Cup. We'll talk about that and the weekend. Savannah Lee will join us tomorrow to talk some Ryder Cup. Another texter says, ESPN, any news on the women's soccer team name? No news, because they are honestly having behind the scene, the Triumph are having full scale deliberations to make a decision. They want to make the right decision. Had a really good point that was made to me by one of the Triumph photographers and huge supporter, Brittany. We were talking about it yesterday. We actually were on Twitter, a conversation, because, I said I would love, by the way, congratulations to Shannon Burke. Shannon Burke, our winner. Shannon Burke is going to be playing a round of golf at Floor Field. So Shannon, enjoy that. Hope you'll call us Monday. Let us know what you think about it. I'll be out there tomorrow. I'm going to go get a round in tomorrow when we're over. So thank you. So anyway, they are having full-scale deliberations. I said that I wanted them to play under one name, one banner. Brittany raised a very good point. She said that the fear she had about them carrying the same name and playing under the same banner was that if there comes a point down the road where the women's team becomes the dominant team in the W League, that they may carry the banner. And at that point, she says, wouldn't you want them to have their own banner and their own identity? And, I understand that argument, right? She said, she had a great way of phrasing it. She said, there is a difference between wanting a combined identity and needing a combined identity. She doesn't want it to feel like the women's team needs a combined identity to be successful, but that you can still want a combined identity to show the unity of the club as a whole, both the men's and the women's team. I thought it's a great point. That being said, the poll completed yesterday. We got well over 200 votes across the Rob Brown Show Nation. And you guys did select to submit as our official recommendation from our show and from ESPN Upstate. You guys did select the Greenville Triumph. You guys did select to tell the team that we would prefer them to play under the same banner. Appreciate all of you went and voted. Final text, Rob, should Alabama lose to Ole Miss next weekend? Does 11-1 Alabama get into the playoffs over 11-1 Clemson and or 12-0 Cincinnati? Thanks. Yes. Cincinnati, this would be their strongest year to make an argument. But Alabama 100% goes over 11-1 Clemson if they have a shared record, right?
Yeah, for
100%.
sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, even if they lose to Ole Miss as opposed to Georgia at the end of the year. Clemson got screwed by the ACC being bad.
Normal of what they usually are. Yeah.
It's a technical term. Bad. Hour 2 is up next. Speaking of the Ryder Cup, we'll break it down a little bit and more. Plus, Lonzo and I make our picks in the next hour. The Rob Brown Show's on ESPN Upstate.
Thomas Rashad on.
Yeah.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. The Atlanta Braves going into today with a 3-game lead on the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. Both teams end up winning yesterday. For the Braves, they knocked off the Diamondbacks by a 9-2 score. Ian Anderson allowed just 1 run in 7 innings of work. The Braves are looking for a sweep of the Arizona Diamondbacks as they are playing late afternoon baseball today against.
We keep talking about that phone list, but I've never actually got it. So.
Oh, yeah, you need a number, don't you?
No problem.
With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
You muted when you did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just, yeah.
Wrestlers to hold the WWE Tag Team Championship event. What has it meant to you to see an elevation of black wrestlers at that level of professional wrestling and knowing that you are a part of that backstory?
How shocked you and who is zero? It means absolutely zero to me because in wrestling, there ain't no black, ain't no white in wrestling. I was live with Tommy Rich one time, and I
could speak for Rashad.
people in this little redneck town
Hey,
with all of
how are
that
you?
Tommy Wildfire Rich.
You pumped? You excited? It's game day.
See, wrestling fans never saw color.
Rob is dressed in his uniform today, so he's ready. Hang on, hang on.
Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
This Saturday on college football on ESPN Radio.
Obviously, everybody really decided an opportunity to start conference play. Obviously, know the level of competition is going to rise this week.
It's the SEC opener for Tennessee in their first road game as they head into the swamp to face the 11th ranked Florida Gators.
I hate when I am on
game plan. Carolina executed it remarkably well. I got to tell you, it's probably the first time in Matt Rule's tenure in Carolina that I sat back and went, that game plan was perfect.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everything worked. I mean, anytime you're holding, listen, I know a lot of guys are missing. I get it. But I don't care, because anytime you hold Alvin Kamara for 5 rushing yards, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's missing at that point. You went out there, you had a game plan, you executed it, and it worked beautifully. And listen, everybody's hyping up the Saints. They went out there, they played without a few of those guys in that first game against Green Bay. And nobody was copping pleas at that point. Everybody was saying, oh, the Saints are great. And so, again, division games, game plans do work. They don't work sometimes. And Sean Payton is a great coach at the end of the day. I expected him to be more prepared. I expected him to go out there and coach and it to be a little bit more competitive than what it was. And that goes back to what you're saying, is that the guys were fully prepared. They went out there and they were able to do exactly what they wanted to do. Anything they did pretty much worked. Sam Darnold had one little boneheaded play where he pretty much gave you the 7 points that you scored, put you guys right in there in the red zone. Outside of that, it was a well coached game. And like you said, I agree. Matt Rule, this was one of those games where, like, okay, if this is what we're going to continue to get, then we're going to be fine. And you go over to even Phil Snow. They were saying that Phil Snow, even after the game, took a shower, did what he had to do, and is back up there breaking down film for the Texas game. So this coaching staff, they're doing what they need to do. And I like what I saw this past Sunday against the New Orleans Saints.
Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. One thing I really appreciated, we've talked about Sam Darnold, and my man's got a chance to put together a 3-game winning streak tonight, the longest in his entire career. But last week, what I loved about him was he was very balanced with the football, right? Like, he wasn't forcing anything. He was looking, he was reading progressions well. The ball was being spread all over the field. Carolina, I think I had 12 or 13 different players catch a football throughout the space of that football game. Look, I mean, it was like a 66 QBR. I'm not going to sit here and start ranking the guy up there with Brady and Mahomes just yet, but he showed a command of the offense. He showed a balance on the offense, and that's growth, which I think for a Panthers team that came into this season thinking, hey, look, we're probably outsiders in the playoffs, but we want to all of a sudden you're 2-0, and outsiders looking at the inside of a wild card run is kind of slowly going out the window, and Sam Darnold's growth looks to be a part of the reason why, Rashad.
Yeah. Sam he's doing what he needs to do, right? When you have the number 1 defense in the league right now, and you don't have to do much. Sit back, hand the ball off to C-Mac, dump it off to C-Mac, hit these quick slants. They're not asking him to throw the ball deep. And again, he doesn't have to do much. And this is exactly what we talked about when the season started. He just has to not make many mistakes. And the one mistake he had, which was boneheaded, he threw the interception. Outside of that, I think he's had like 7 bad throws the entire season through 2 games. And so I think he's doing what he needs to do. I like what I see from Sam. He's not trying to do too much. He's not trying to push the football down the field for the sake of pushing the football down the field. But he's also not taking the dump off. I saw one read where he had the opportunity. He had a wide open C-Mac in the middle of the field. He didn't take that dump off. He read the field, and he found Robbie Anderson across the middle. And so I like that he's doing what he needs to do. And the credit has to go to the offensive line. I mean, we talked about how bad our offensive line was projected to be, but I mean, they only gave up 4 pressures against the Saints. And so they're giving Sam time to go out there, go through his progressions, read the field, and do what he has to do. So it all works together. We can't make the mistake of looking at Sam in isolation, because that's not how football works, right? It's 11 guys working against 11 guys. So all 11 guys have to do their part. The receivers have to run their routes and catch the football. The offensive line has to block. And sometimes the running backs have to block, and sometimes the running backs have to catch. If all that is working, Sam Darnold's life is going to be a lot easier, and that's what I'm seeing right now. Everybody's doing their part, everybody's doing their job, and it's one game at a time. So far, so good. We can't get too happy, but 2 games in, this is what we expected to see, and we're getting exactly what we expected to see from the Panthers right now.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. Make sure you follow them on YouTube where the hot stuff drops, though. All right, let's switch gears. Riding that high, coming off of a Saints game again, 3.5-point favorites with New Orleans. That line, I think, probably should have dropped a little bit. But, hey, at the end of the day, you didn't just go out there and when you demolished New Orleans. Now you come up against the Houston Texans team tonight that has had to make a switch at starting quarterback. Tyrod Taylor, who had been playing relatively well in the first couple of games of the season, is going to take a back seat due to injury. Davis Mills, the Stanford grad, is a third-round quarterback, going to be getting the start tonight. Similar game plan on defense, attack, try to frustrate, try to force mistakes is what I'm assuming tonight, Rashad?
Yeah, stop the run. I think they're going to try to run the football. We're number one against the run or somewhere up top against the run. I think we've only allowed 45 rushing yards per game. So I believe that would be tops in the league. And so, again, you stop that run, put the football in Davis Mills' hands, make him work on a short week against the number one defense in the league right now. I don't think it's going to fare well for him. And it's unfortunate, right? It's a bad situation for this quarterback to be, a young quarterback to be in. We frustrated young quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, we gave him fits. Even going back to last year, Justin Herbert, that defense and what Phil Snow does is so good, and they're able to confuse guys. They'll plug the gaps and then drop back. They'll send guys. They won't send guys. It's just really, really confusing. And if your offensive line can't handle the athletes coming off the edges and what we have, the manpower we have on the interior, it's just tough. And so I expect defensive domination tonight as long as we stop the run. They do have some capable running backs. You're talking about Phillip Lindsay. You're talking about, I know, an aging David Johnson. He still has a little bit in him. So we'll see what happens. But if they stop the run and put the football in his hands, I think it's going to be a long night for the Houston Texans quarterback.
So we got Davis Mills coming in, and he is absolutely, I think, going to be running for his life. And you know, you've mentioned the Carolina defense a couple of times with good reason, Rashad. This defense, look, we came into the year saying if there's going to be success, it's going to be the defense, the heart and soul, specifically the front seven. But J.C. Horn and the DBs were making life tough for Jameis Winston. Last weekend, they made it tough for Zach Wilson back in week one. Look, you know, I said after the Jets game, I said they look good, but it's the Jets. I don't want to get carried away. Against New Orleans, though, they really were never able to get anything going. And even if they were, again, Alvin Kamara has been remarkably consistent throughout his entire career. In fact, that was the worst game of his entire career as a New Orleans Saint. If that defense brings that same tenacity against Houston, and I think Carolina's a 4.5-point favorite, and that almost feels like an easy cover to me.
No, I think the line is pushed. I think it pushed to 9 now. I think it started at 7 with the quarterback injury, and then it pushed to 9 after. I believe Justin Reed is not playing tonight. So it's a large favorite right now, and I don't know if I'm going to put money on that. I did put money on the Saints game, and that fared well for me. But I don't know if I'm going to stay away from this game tonight just because I don't know. I think we may let off the gas a little bit, let them back in the game. We have done that over the past couple games. We've let off the gas and kind of just cruise. So we'll see what happens with this game tonight. It's going to be a little unpredictable, but I do expect the dominance to continue on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe our DBs get tested a little bit more tonight. J.C. Horn and company, they're good. We do bring back A.J. Bouye tonight, so it's going to be real interesting to see how he gets integrated back into this defense. I mean, it's insane. We've been playing without arguably the second best cornerback on our roster right now, and so you add him into the mix, it's going to be a problem for Davis Mills tonight, and I expect, again, the defense to be pure dominance tonight.
Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joining us here on the show tonight. On the offensive side of the ball, we mentioned Sam Darnold spreading the ball around. You had Zylstra, you had Anderson, you had McCaffrey all getting involved in the running game, in the passing game last week against a Saints defense missing its top 2 cover corners. Do we lean on the passing game tonight and see if Darnold stays consistent, or will we see a more healthy, not that he didn't run the ball, but a more healthy dose of 22 running the rock tonight?
Yeah, I think that last week we had difficulties running the football. While the offensive line was able to protect from a pass perspective, we were not good against. We were not a good run blocking team last week, and we were still able to amass, I think, 80 something around 86 rushing yards, I believe, and so that was a decent effort. And we tried. We continued to run the ball. We kept running it, which is what I like. We don't give up on the run. You have to establish the run. In my opinion, a healthy run game is the best situation for Sam Darnold. You don't want to see Sam Darnold out there just slinging it 30 times a game. It's unnecessary. You've got capable running backs, and I'd like to see a little bit of Royce Freeman tonight. I think that would be great to kind of mix it up. I know we saw a little bit of Chuba Hubbard last week. He did get around 10 carries. Didn't quite get, he didn't produce much, but they did give him the rock last week. So that's good to see. Keep mixing it up, shuffle around those running backs. But I think you'll see a healthy dose of the run. I think Houston Texans are, average run defense. I think they rank 17th or 18th in the league against the run. So I think you'll see a healthy dose of run game. They will continue to try to establish it and not give up on it, and just throw where they need to. Pick up those third downs where they need to, and put it in stands when they need to. And no need to try to extend the field just for the sake of extending the field. Let's dominate time possession and continue to do what we've been doing all year. I think that formula is working right now for us.
All right, Rashad, time to go on the record, big dog. Carolina on the road at Houston tonight. Things been going well. 2-0 against what I think is an outgun 1-1 Texans team. Final score prediction from Rashad Beard.
Final score, I think it's going to be lower scoring. I did predict on the show the other night. I said 30 to 21. I'm going to drop that a little bit here. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be like a 24 to 13 type game. That's what I think it's going to be, in that range. I think the over-under is 43, and I want to lean towards the under, but I'm not sure. These Thursday night games are real unpredictable, so I'm not sure where to go from there. I think I might stay away from this game altogether, but I do predict a W, and at the end of the day, score doesn't matter, right? It's a W that matters. So let's get this W, handle business, go out there, not get trapped going up against an undermanned Texas team. Go out there, handle business, and I expect Matt Rule to have those guys ready to go and do just that.
Rashad Beard, our Carolina Panther insider, the go-to for everything we need to know Panthers. You can follow him on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. You can also make sure you follow them on YouTube, where he posts the hottest, freshest Carolina Panther content. Rashad, my man, congratulations on again last week, bro. We'll see you in the Superdome in a few weeks, my guy. We got revenge coming.
We're gonna own the dome. This is our season. I feel the brooms are gonna come out against the Saints. Actually, Sean Payton had a broom at one point. I think he's gonna get a little bit of that. He's gonna get that in return.
Okay. Rashad, we might have a little little Twitter avatar bet going on when we get closer, man. I'm just saying.
Let's do it, man.
All right, Rashad Beard, follow him on Twitter. Appreciate you, big fella. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
There you go. That's Rashad Beard at Panther Nation PC on Twitter, Panther Nation Podcast on YouTube. Go check it out.
We that.
You know what, Lonzo? You know what? I didn't sign up for this. All right. Lonzo's choking himself laughing at Weed At over there. Gosh, if only in my almost 37 years I had never heard that joke before, then it might be funny to me.
I have never heard that joke before.
I only hear it every time we lose. And this may shock you, Lonzo. We used to lose a lot. Like a lot.
You ain't lying.
The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. So why haven't you mentioned the missing coaches for the Saints? Hashtag we that.
Look at Twitter.
Twitter?
When life is hectic and you're rushing to get dinner together, do you
Prepare a perfectly grilled flat iron steak, mashed potatoes, green beans, and sauteed carrots with
doubt it? But you could enjoy
The sad part is you would know it was there and it would still get you every day, probably.
Probably.
Just out of the corner of your eye, you'd see it and it would. Put some sort of voodoo curse on me. I got a tickle in my throat from saying we that.
From saying we that.
Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income.
I tried to unmute you from over here, but since you muted yourself, I couldn't unmute you last time. Yeah.
This feature is sponsored by Indeed. Odds are you're hiring to free up time, not lose more. With Indeed, you get the platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and say you're hired. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Got a question for you. Do you know a strike from a split? Well, sounds like you're perfect for the Stoneman Bad Bowlers Club. Hey, it's the Stoneman. For the next 8 weeks, every Thursday night, we're going to be hitting the lanes or the gutters over at Spare Time Entertainment on Concord Road. Bring your team or just bring yourself, and don't worry if you're not that good. It's called the Bad Bowlers Club for a reason. Come join us. Get on over to ClassicRock1011.com/bowl right now. That's ClassicRock1011.com/bowl to sign up. The Stoneman Bad Bowlers Club, only at Spare Time Entertainment on Conway Road, sponsored by Bigelow Ultra.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Don't miss your chance to experience South Carolina's #1 haunted house, located in Piedmont off I-85 exit 35. Buy tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free fix finder service can read the check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions verified by licensed technicians. We'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician verified fixes. The free fix finder service. Get AutoZone. More details at AutoZone.com.
Try out the Sirius XM app free for 1 month and amp up your summer. Plug into over 350 channels packed with ad-free music, plus comedy, news, talk, Howard Stern, live sports, and more. Create personalized Pandora stations and dive into the best collection of podcasts curated just for you. So check out all the great entertainment we have to offer for free on the Sirius XM app.
We're here to take over.
Yeah, buddy. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate Thursday afternoon. And you know what that means. Not only is Lonzo's Fight Club that he thought I forgot about again coming up in an hour.
He says as he writes it down on his list because he did forget about it.
No, so I've discovered my new system, which is I have my show prep over on this computer, but also I write stuff down because if I look down, Lonzo, I didn't forget about it. All right, that's the important part. Can we just say it's a thought that counts?
Well, the fact that you're mentioning it means that you did forget it, and you're letting me know that you didn't forget it, which makes it a little too obvious putting it out there when we could have just got the 220 and rocked the Fight Club, and no one would have known.
It's a tease, man. It's classic radio stuff. It's Radio 101.
It's definitely a tease. If you think we're fighting now, wait till 220.
But also on Thursdays, Lonzo and I make our picks for the weekend, and we start that process right this very second. Zoe, what in the world? Oh, you forget picks?
No, that was also this is for because we're also streaming.
Dramatic effects.
This was me surprised that suddenly you do it. I don't know what's wrong with you today, but you're just especially jumpy. You definitely are. I mean, maybe get a little more sleep.
I was gonna say,
or something.
I feel like you don't know how my day started, but you do. But you do because you did it. Notre Dame is at Wisconsin this weekend, and Lonzo, the Irish, a 6.5 point underdog in this one. 6.5 point dog are the Irish. They're on the road at a Wisconsin team that started the season with very high hopes. They fell to Penn State, but only by a touchdown. Penn State, of course, would then turn around and knock off a top 25 team in Auburn the next weekend by just 2 points more. Notre Dame, on the other hand, had a scary start to the season. They got taken by Florida State to overtime and barely escaped Tallahassee. Turns out Florida State is, again, that technical term, bad at football. Then they go and they barely skate by Toledo, 32-29, but they run it up on Purdue, 27-13. That one at home. So was the Toledo game, by the way. Wisconsin, Lonzo, a 6.5 point favorite at home. Badgers, Irish, 6.5 points of difference. Who you got?
See, it's starting to catch up with me. So after having kind of a bad week, which really wasn't that bad of a week, because it could have been a whole lot worse.
Could have been way worse. You went 500. That's if you go. But worst performance for you on the year is 500, Lonzo. That's good.
All right, I'm going Wisconsin.
Whiskey at the house to win it by 6.5. I have to agree with you. I have to. I wanted to go different on this. I kept going Notre Dame, but that Toledo game just scares me. I know they ran it up on Purdue. All right. I know they ran it up on Purdue, but that was a game that everything was, boys, we got to go prove themselves. I think they go back to being Notre Dame. I think that was a kind of a special thing. I'll take Wisconsin at home to win it just by 7 though. Fun one. We learned earlier today, CJ Stroud is out due to a shoulder injury. The Buckeyes are going to be going backup quarterback. They are at home and they are 49.5 point favorites with the news today. 49.5 with a backup quarterback in Columbus, Lonzo.
Yeah. I feel bad about this, but Ohio State will not cover.
I agree with you again.
The defense, I mean, they tried to tweak it last week, and yeah, you could see the tweaking, but it's I don't know that it's enough. I mean, they're going to beat Akron for sure.
Sure.
But I just don't think they're going to beat them by that much.
Akron lost to Auburn by 50 back on September 4th. Then they lost 45-24 to Temple. They beat something called Bryant 35-14. Now they go into Columbus.
That's Daniel Bryant University.
Yes. Now they go into Ohio State, into Columbus. It's going to be an interesting one with the backup quarterback. I agree with you, though.
So
Auburn beat them by 50.
Backup quarterbacks, which means you got two guys coming in play, and they're going to be trying to prove themselves. They're going to be pushing it a little too hard, possibly making some bad decisions. I still think they're going to win, but yeah.
49.5, a big number. Akron lost by 50 to Auburn. Is Ohio State 2 points better than Auburn? We're going to find out. North Carolina, come on and raise up. Last week, took them both, did Zoe and I. We both took the heels to cover, and they did. Here's why this game's interesting. They're at Georgia Tech. That's the same Georgia Tech that took Clemson to an 8-point game, and frankly, it should have been closer last week. All right? Georgia Tech was all of a yard away from housing a touchdown late that might have sent it to OT. Carolina, 12.5 points is the spread in this one. They got to win by 13 or better on the road at Georgia Tech. Lonzo, can Tech have the same level of performance, or did Carolina find their footing a little bit last week?
See, it's hard to judge because
this one's a tough one.
Normally when a team just went against Clemson, then you can pretty much figure out what they are, but seeing that we don't really know what Clemson is right now. But Georgia Tech nearly beat Clemson, which means they would have had to score some offensive points on what is arguably one of the best defenses in college football. So I'm going with Georgia Tech on this.
All right, we got our first game that we're split up on. I'm taking the Heels on the road to go into Georgia Tech. Look, Georgia Tech made that game against Clemson close, but they had to pour every bit of their heart and soul into that game. They're going to be exhausted. They're going to get beat up. They're going to be sore. Give me the Heels on the road to cover 12.5. Louisville is down in Tallahassee this weekend. The Noles got the floor waxed on them last week by Wake Forest. 6 turnovers in that game. Louisville, though, a 1.5 point favorite on the road in Tallahassee. Can Mike Norvell tempt you to take the Noles at home, Zoe?
No, you cannot.
Damn it. I was hoping I could trick you into it. Taking Louisville.
I made the mistake last week with Florida State. I'm not doing it again.
Somebody said, well, Louisville's not as good as Wake Forest. Yeah, I know that. I don't need you to talk to me right now, Alexa.
Well, you could have, listened to what she found, because I'm curious as to what she thought you were asking.
Louisville, maybe not as good as Wake Forest. They're better than Jacksonville State, who beat FSU in Tallahassee. Cardinals go in there and drive the Noles to 0-4. Did you ever think in your lifetime you'd see an 0-4 Florida State University?
Is the coach safe?
Yeah, but only because they can't afford to fire him. You know they're still paying Willie Taggart's buyout. UCLA is at Stanford this week. A UCLA team that another one that's really interesting. Remember, UCLA knocked off LSU to start the year 38-27, but then they turned around and they lost to Fresno State. Fresno State, though, is now a top 25 football team. They are ranked, and they only got UCLA by a field goal. Stanford, on the other hand, as we have talked about, not Christian McCaffrey's Stanford team anymore. This Stanford team got beat by Kansas State, top 25 team. They went out and they punked USC, but we don't know if that's that impressive, right? That's the job that got Clay Helton fired by USC. They did beat Vandy 41-23, though. Now Stanford welcomes UCLA to the house. The Bruins, though, a 4.5 point favorite. UCLA at Stanford. Bruins by 4.5. What you got?
I'm going UCLA in this.
I'm going to split up with you here. I'm going to take Stanford to the house. I know I'm taking a gamble here. I'm taking a risk. But Stanford's been okay at home. They've been okay at home. UCLA has been a decent but questionable program. I think they're due for a slip. Give me the Cardinal at the house to be inside of 4.5. Almost Heaven, West Virginia travels out to Oklahoma, where the wind does something coming down the plains or something. It's a song.
Yeah, it blows the weeds or some sort of thing.
Something about winds and plains. So Oklahoma, 19.5 point favorite goes Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma Boomer Sooners. 19.5, but they are at home against West Virginia. What do you think, Zoe?
First of all, why have we suddenly gone with me going first every single time?
Fine, I'll go first. And primarily because I'm trying to be polite. But
I think also you make sure you emphasize certain school names and things.
Oklahoma State Scooty just texted in and it said sweeping down the plain. It's where the wind goes sweeping down the plain. And he's from Oklahoma. He's very proud of that song.
And it's not the first time that we have forgotten what it said. And you know what? Next time.
You know who reminded us last time?
Yeah.
Oklahoma
yeah.
Scooty.
We're going to forget. It's just, we take pride in not remembering that. No, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
To cover 19.5.
Yes, I am.
Big number from a team that I've not been overwhelmingly impressed with. And I've been trying to sell you all year. I took West Virginia last week by myself, and I got the cover in that one. I'll take them again. Ears by 3. Give me West Virginia to cover the 19.5 on the road. Tennessee heading down to the University of Florida, take on the Gators. The Gators 18.5-point favorites. Look, Alabama is not as bad as y'all want to make them out to be. Florida is better than anybody wants to give them credit for. In the swamp, Lonzo, Florida passes the 18.5. They win by 27 over the Volunteers. Give me the Gators.
Yeah, I'm going with the Gators too. Tennessee, they're on the way up though.
All right, 2 more for you in the college football ranks. 10.5 points. That's what Clemson is expected to win by, headed up to Raleigh to take on laptop Dave Dorn and his NC State Wolfpack. Remember, so I forgot about this when we were talking about it earlier, but remember, there's some personal animosity between Dabo and Dave Dorn. These two guys have had words for each other over the years. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Clemson's figured it out after a scare from Georgia Tech. I will tell you, Dabo can get his guys up and ready. Maybe not for every single game, but for a game where he's got this much bulletin board material, even though NC State's kind of finding their way a little bit, Clemson a 10.5-point favorite in this one. Lonzo, give me the Tigers to cover. They win by 14.
I don't normally go against Clemson. I know it shocks some people, but I don't normally go against Clemson because they've been so good. But I have witnessed the struggles of their offense. They're going to win the game, but I don't think they're going to win by as much as they're won by. So I'm going against Clemson in this.
NC State to cover up 10.5, says Lonzo. Wow. It's going to be a fun one. And finally, in our college picks, we'll come back and make our NFL picks in a second, but our college picks, last one, Lonzo, they're at the house. Willie B going to be thumping after Shane Beamer called out the Gamecocks fans to show up and put some energy in the stadium. But Kentucky, Lonzo, 5.5-point favorites are the Wildcats at Shane Beamer's boys. Willie B rocking on Saturday night.
Disrespectful it is for them to think Kentucky is going to beat South Carolina at home.
You're going for the straight up victory.
Yes.
Straight up victory.
Going with South Carolina in this.
So am I. So am I. Gamecocks, I'm picking to win the game. I will absolutely take them to cover at 5.5. This is as close to a must-win game as South Carolina has on the schedule. This week and next week both feel like must-win games for me, and I think Shane's going to have the boys feeling good about it.
You're going to come out there and after that first series go, this ain't Georgia. We got this.
Yeah.
Look at what we did against Georgia. We got this.
Give me the Gamecocks to cover. Let's take a break. We'll come back. NFL picks next. Rob Lonzo, you. It's ESPN Upstate.
This just in, Ohio State coach Ryan Day telling 97.1 The Fan quarterback C.J. Stroud is out Saturday against Akron with a shoulder injury. Either true freshman Kyle McCord or redshirt freshman Jack Miller will start. Stroud will be the emergency QB. Panthers and Texans kick off week 3 of the NFL season tonight. Houston turning to rookie Davis Mills at quarterback because of the hamstring injury to Tyrod Taylor. Mills will be making his first NFL start against the league's top-ranked quarterback. KJL Cambridge and Malkin recovering from knee surgery will miss as captain Sidney Crosby also out injured after the day after exiting the sliding and 11.
ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
If you think the COVID vaccine alone will protect you from the coronavirus, think again. As the deadly disease breaks through to people who are vaccinated, it's critical to take a reliable temperature reading with the Exogen Temporal Scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies versus the non-contact devices that have no supporting studies and produce a false sense of security. Vaccines are not enough, and thermometer accuracy matters. Learn more at exogen.com.
Hey, moms and dads, this is Catherine at Denver Downs. When was the last time you watched your kids run, laugh, and play until they were totally worn out? Or better yet, when was the last time you had fun spending the entire day playing with your kids? Well, now's the time to get outside and have a fun fall adventure. And there's no better place than the corn maze at Denver Downs. Whether you're swinging over the hay, searching for the perfect pumpkin, or exploring South Carolina's largest corn maze, you'll make memories to last a lifetime. Come see us at Denver Downs and visit denverdownsfarm.com for more information.
How many of you have pets? My one's raised. Now think about how lucky you are to have such a sweet little pet in your life, and that pet is lucky to have you too. But
I love when I get vacation lists. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to cover it, but
Bob's from Skechers is trying to change that. So we developed Bob's for dogs and cats to help pets in need. With every purchase of adorable Bob's footwear or fun, stylish apparel, or even the cutest Bob's pet accessories, Skechers makes it easy to pet. With your help, we've already saved the lives of over 1 million pets and raised over $7 million. So while you're getting style,
did you get new boots for Boston?
No, I have my leather boots with the zipper on the side that Diesel makes fun of me for all the time. And that's from a thread where he said, if your boots don't have dirt on them, they're not boots. And then he asked how my fancy leather boots
Are those like the boots that my stepdad had like back in 1983, I wonder?
I mean, they're legitimately not made for hiking. They're made to look like they're made for hiking.
Oh, okay. So these aren't like biker boots.
No. I mean, I use them on the bike, but no, they're leather, but they're like designer leather. I take my judgment as it comes.
Oh. If you wear flannel, obviously you're an expert in boots. So that's the reason why he can criticize you.
But I wear flannel a lot, actually.
I can't wear flannel because I'm not a hipster.
Flannel is the most versatile of clothing.
Is it?
Yeah. You can be a hipster. You can be a lumberjack. You can be a cowboy. Everybody wears flannel.
Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40. But the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
Gotta say, I don't believe I have any flannel. You just now seeing that? There's also a picture of them in the arena holding
that sign. That's
yeah.
You know what? I respect the level of kayfabe that it takes to say, Mom, Dad, I want you guys to show up with a sign that says I suck.
Oh, he has said some things at them.
Yeah? Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, like his people will be in contact with them over slander and some things like that.
Oh, this is so good. All right, NFL picks before we get out of here. And at the end of the segment, I'm going to give away one more seat to sit with me tonight at Wings Etc. in Bowling Springs. I got a table reserved in the middle of the room. I'll be broadcasting live from 6:30 to 7:30 on Classic Rock 101.1 with the Carolina Kickoff Show. So if you are a Panthers fan, make sure you're over there at 6:30 on 101.1 FM. I'll be doing a 1-hour pregame show from 6:30 to 7:30. And then I've got a table inside. We're going to be hanging out through the game. Your opportunity to come sit and watch a game with me. We're going to give a seat at that table away here in about, we'll call it 4 minutes, 5 minutes from right now. But let's run through our NFL picks before we get there. We'll go ahead and start with that game, Lonzo. Carolina 8 2.5-point favorites. We now know, obviously, Houston going with Davis Mills, the 3rd-round pick out of Stanford. Carolina has been very good so far, but Houston's been consistent, if not great. Carolina to cover 9 up or not, Lonzo?
Houston a little bit surprising because we thought they were just going to lose every single game and not be competitive at all. But it just goes to show you that Deshaun Watson is not the whole team. These guys are paid to play. They're out there, they're playing, they're competing with Tyrod Taylor, and they look pretty good, but he's not there. So I'm going with the Panthers.
The Panthers to cover 8.5. I got the same pick. The only way that doesn't happen is if the music drops and number 4 comes out under center for Houston. If Deshaun plays, which I don't think he's going to, Deshaun plays, maybe it changes it. But from what we understand, Davis Mills is the starter tonight. Washington is at Buffalo. Washington in an absolute street fight last week that got very, very interesting. On the flip side, Buffalo found it 35-0 shutout of the Miami Dolphins last week. I will take a team that is as hot as a team working off of a shutout. Give me the Bills to cover up 7.5, Zoe.
Yeah, same here. Washington, they shouldn't have won that game. They missed the field goal and then the penalty, and they get to kick it again. But yeah, I'm going Buffalo.
Here's my fear. Washington's defensive line, very good. If they can get to Josh Allen early.
Chase Young, man.
But he can move, man. He can move Josh Allen. Give me a Buffalo. New Orleans is at New England. The Battle of the News up in Foxborough, Massachusetts. This game, Lonzo, it's a pick'em game. You just got to pick the winner. That's all. Who you got?
Well, I refuse to pick New England now that Cam's no longer there. I can hate them once more, and so I'm going with the Saints.
New Orleans to get the dub. I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this pick because I don't want to pick New Orleans.
He's going to bounce back. You'll see.
I'm taking the Saints. I don't want to. I don't want to pick my own team. I want to pick my team to lose. The defensive line, they get their cornerbacks back, and that's the difference. Plus, their offensive coach is back. Plus, Sean's not going to take. And Alvin Kamara he was pissed on Sunday in his presser. He's going to run anger. Give me the Saints. LA is at Kansas City. Your boys, so at home against the Chargers.
Okay, Chargers.
The Chargers favored by 6.5.
Wait. The Chargers are favored?
No, the Chiefs are favored.
Okay, all right.
By 6.5. Can they cover up the full touchdown?
Yeah.
I know, right?
The defense does not look good, and the Chargers are pretty good offense. Well, all the offenses in the West are pretty good. But I'm a homer, and I love my team, and I'm going to say my team's going to cover.
Chiefs for both of us. I am taking the Chiefs to cover up as well. Look, I like the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert, but the Chiefs do not take long. They're like Green Bay. They don't lose back-to-back. It doesn't happen.
Kelsey, wouldn't shock me if he ends up MVP this year.
Bet above 15 on the air tonight. Yeah. Atlanta at the New York Football Giants.
Why is this game on the list?
Because the Giants are 2.5-point favorites.
Where is this being played
This
at?
one's in Flushing Meadows. This one's at New York. ATL on the road at a bad Giants team, but the Giants are favored in this one, Lonzo.
Atlanta got flat out embarrassed.
Ooh, 2 weeks in a row, son. They got smoked last week by Tampa. In week 1, they got beat by Philly convincingly. I'm going to do
because I don't think Rob Brown will. I'm going to Atlanta.
You are correct. I will not do that. You are correct. I do not believe in it. And it's at this point, it's not even one of those, I know I never pick Atlanta, but this feels like a good one. Nope. Atlanta is hot garbage right now. Give me the Giants at home. Danny Dimes wins it. Tampa Bay at the Rams on the road. Lonzo, Tampa is a 1.5-point favorite at the Rams. A lot of people, including our BetQL guys on both shows this week, saying that they like the Rams.
I was going to say, I'm going Rams here. I really love what the Rams are doing. And I know Tampa Bay has been playing well, but especially with that small of a margin, I'm going with the Rams.
The number 1 wide receiver in touchdowns for the Atlanta Falcons this year is a Tampa Bay defensive back. All right. Tampa Bay is going to win this game. And they're going to win this game convincingly. 1.5 points. That's free money, ladies and gentlemen. Free money. I don't have time to tell Zoe to get the free money alert, but just pretend it played. Caller number 3 right now is going to win a seat at the table with me tonight, Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs. You Spartanburg folks, I don't get to make it over there very often, but I'll be in your hood tonight. Caller number 3 right now. I have a reserved seat for you, middle of the room, under the big screen, to watch Carolina and Houston with me tonight at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs. 844-GSP-ESPN. Caller number 3, I'm reserving a seat for you at the table tonight at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs. Back after this to wrap up Hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
You're the winner. What's your name? All right. Having a little trouble with your phone. Your name again? I'm sorry.
Talk has the power to save lives. Join ESPN Upstate this Sunday at 8 a.m. for
Okay, I heard Frazier.
2-hour show featuring some of the biggest names in music and sports.
Okay. I get it. I'm a little slow. My bad. I can't fix it. All right. Give me your phone number. You said 1616? Okay. Rob will be in contact with you. Congratulations. Yep. Bye.
I guess I could have just handed you this paper back to write on here, but that's all right.
It's all right. It's not my paper, so what do I care? I'll just print out more.
Benji Frazier.
Make sure you write down what it is for each of them. I should have done that. My bad.
Nope, you're good.
Really have to say, you're going outside a procedure when you're doing this, and it really bothers me because it needs to go through promo suite and all that.
I will take care of that for next week.
Yeah, I mean, that's
fair. That's fair.
I would never condone any way, shape, fashion going against the rules. Set up parameters and stuff.
Verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
Keep seeing curling pictures and realizing that I now know how to do that.
September 30th only, get $50 off our already low price per window with the purchase and installation of fiberbar. Visit amwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American made.
Hi, this is Cole Bryce and play-by-play voice of the Burns Rebels. With the Rebels having a bye this Friday night, join me for live updates of all of the games across the Upstate, beginning at 7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate and on the Odyssey app. Powered by your local Eagles market. 97 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the
I know you're not a fan. FTR is a classic tag team, and I appreciate that out of them. They made a point on Twitter that I had not even noticed. Theoretically, in tag team rules, you're only allowed one pin breakup by a partner per tag team match if you play by the original rules.
I didn't know there was a rule about that, period.
Yeah, in the original rules, you were allowed one pin breakup
So these were the Edition 1 rules?
What's that?
These were the Edition 1 rules.
Yeah. So they pointed out that if you watch their matches, they actually never have more than one partner can break up in a match. And I went back and watched a couple, and they were telling the truth.
I don't know if it's because I don't like them, but I just don't care. I mean, I guess that's a cool stat. Who keeps track of that, though? I mean, I guess.
That's why I appreciate it. Because it clearly matters to them.
And they're the champions where?
They're not the champions.
Oh, okay.
They will be.
I hope not.
Technology is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. You can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive website.
I bet you're glad you don't work there.
Where?
My brother and I have scared each other and employees over 100 times the last 5 years. Used to put it in closets, front door, on string, bathroom cords.
It never gets old.
See, I would do that, and then once I said I actually have someone dressed as Jason.
So after a while, you have to dress as Jason and then jump.
Yes.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Hour 3, the money hour coming up next. We're going to break down Kentucky and South Carolina. We're going to talk Clemson and North Carolina State. A little more X's and O's coming up. 2:20. Lonzo's Fight Club coming your way. All things combat sports.
Point out you had a winner.
Oh, yeah, and congratulations to Benji Frazier. Benji is going to be sitting with us tonight at the table at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs. And on an online contest, P1 Keegan has picked up a seat as well. So Keegan will be there. Benji will be there. We got 2 winners from yesterday. I might just have one more seat to give away. I'll let you know on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Old Tully taking a bump.
And it actually didn't look as awkward as it
really
normally
didn't.
does. I think it might have been camera angle that helped. Or the fact who was giving it to him maybe made it look better.
Oh, God, that coffin drop onto the apron. Oh.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Darby's a lunatic, man.
Oh, no, when you met him, did he look like he was in pain?
No.
Okay.
No, in fact, when I walked right past him when I walked in because he was the very first booth. He didn't have makeup on, so I literally just walked right past him because he just looked like some little kind of emo weird dude. He was wearing just black jean shorts and a black AEW shirt, and I just walked right past him.
Floating through space, the last human being stares back down at the charred crispy remains of what used to be.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is an award-winning promo.
It is.
You can't hear it, but it's an award-winning.
Absolutely is.
Keep up to date with every Upstate high school football game in real time with the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, take your feed, and follow your favorite games. Upstate Score Stream. All the high school football scores in one place at ESPNUpstate.com. Check this out. Brown Lockdown. Locally for the town.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour goes now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. I am Rob, the great one, Lonzo, the pinnacle of professionalism, is at the helm this afternoon. You can be a part of the show at 844-477-3776, 844-GSP. ESPN. Text us at 71307, 71307 on the Ingalls Market text line. Had a couple of texts that have come in so far. Texter says, ESPN, what's the line on Panther pick 6? I wouldn't be surprised if they had 2. Texans are going to be running short routes, and those corners will be looking for it. Yeah, you can bet. And this is why it's good to have a young quarterback who is a little more aggressive. And I don't know if that's Davis Mills yet. All right, we're going to find out tonight. I don't know. But when you've got a young guy, especially in his first start, that you can be a little over-aggressive on jumping up under routes. You can be a little aggressive in sitting down in coverage and trusting your safeties to be over the top, especially when the defensive backs have been as good as Carolina's have been so far 2 weeks into the season against the Jets and the Saints last week. I gotta think, Lonzo, that the defensive backs for Carolina tonight, uber aggressive, right? Jumping routes, knocking guys off the route, and trying to create confusion for Davis Mills, who's getting his first nod at QB.
Without a doubt, and especially if they get some pressure on him, which they should. If we've seen from the first couple of games, they're going to get some pressure on him. It's going to cause him to make some mistakes, and hopefully the Panthers will be able to capitalize.
Texas says, ESPN, I'm not from Oklahoma, but I can call in and sing the song if you wish.
That just means you're in the musicals. I mean, so.
I'm into musicals. I just don't know that I've ever seen Oklahoma ! Don't think I've seen that one. I've seen most of the rest, like the big ones.
Here's how much I've heard of Oklahoma. The same amount that you've heard of Oklahoma. Just that first phrase that we can't remember.
Where the wind comes
sweeping down the plains.
There he goes. Look at that. Look at that. Dexter says, ESPN picking my Knowles to go 0-4. Ouch. But I've got nothing. This does have the making for a stolen rivalry game. Watch out, Florida and Clemson. Florida State, Louisville, the new rivalry. Yikes. ESPN, I thought Carolina was playing NC State. No, Clemson is playing NC State. Carolina's playing Kentucky. Texture says ESPN 28-3. Carolina Gamecocks with the win. 28. That's a big win.
That's a butt whooping is what that is. I'm not so sure about that.
Nope.
I hope you're right, but we'll see.
Nope, I don't believe it. Texter. With all due respect, I don't believe it. I think they win. I like Carolina to outright win the game. If, Lonzo, there it is. Circle it, paint it in red. If they have less than 50 yards in penalties. More than that, it means they haven't cleaned up the mistakes, right? That's been the big thing. Penalties, dumb decisions. If they have less than 50 yards in penalties, then it says to me that they have cleaned up the issues, or at least most of them. If they have less than 50 yards in penalties, it shows that they've been working on the mistakes. If they have less than 50 yards in penalties, it shows that all the things that have gone wrong for the Gamecocks so far this year are projects, are things to be worked on. If they have less than 50 yards in penalty, Lonzo, they win the game. But if they're going to go back up into the 75, 80, 85, 90 yards given away range, that's how you lose to a team like Kentucky, who is a relatively disciplined team under Mark Stoops.
Well, I think you've got to believe. Well, of course, the coaches are working on this, about them being more disciplined and not making mistakes. And hopefully they've got them in check and they're ready to go, and they won't do that as much. Trend downward as far as penalty yards goes.
I think it comes down to it. Like I said, to me, that is just the illustration. That is just the illustration of the problem that South Carolina has right now. It's not mental toughness, right? That's what we talked about last week.
So you're saying it's discipline. Because
Yeah, I think
if it's discipline, that comes back to coaching.
Yeah, it is. To me, it is. It's not mental toughness because, again, South Carolina was still out there trying to put points on the board and slug with Georgia when they were down 21 points in the third quarter, 28 points in the third quarter. They were still out there trying to slug. They were still out there trying to put points up. They were still fighting. Muschamp's team would have given up, I don't know, 2 quarters before that, Lonzo. But Beamer's boys did not. They kept slugging. Mental toughness, aggression, ruthless aggression was not an issue.
Thank you for not putting it all into like you wanted to.
I was like, I'm too close to the mic. I got to back off. Ruthless aggression was not the issue for the Gamecocks last weekend. The 2 issues were, 1, the other team is just better than you are. And 2, you have discipline problems. Now, I'm not talking off the field. I'm talking on the field. But those are things that you can work in. Those are things you can work on. Those are things you can improve. Those are things that you can clean up, right? Those are things that get better if the coaching staff directs it to be so. If the coaching staff can go out there and get these guys to recognize, hey, look, Lons, how many points come off the board for Georgia if the 90 penalty yards against South Carolina gets decreased down to 30? How many points go on the board against ECU without 75 yards in penalties in that game, right? I'm not saying they would have beat Georgia. I am saying it wouldn't have been the thrill fest of a fourth quarter that it was against the Pirates.
All right, so you have to choose between what it was like under Will Muschamp, lethargic, no effort, not really looking like you know what you're doing, or this, being over-aggressive, making some dumb mistakes. I'd rather have this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I'd rather have the team that fights, right? I'd rather Muschamp's teams may have been more disciplined as far as not making dumb mistakes. But they when things stop going their way, that it to me, and I mean, Gamecock fans, if I'm wrong, holla at your boy, let me know about it. But the teams that won Muschamp in the last couple of years did not have the fight that this team has. I'd rather have that because here's the thing. I can teach a guy, Lonzo. I can teach a guy how to form tackle and form block, right? We can work on that, and we can drill and drill and drill and drill and drill until it's second nature. I can teach that. You know what I can't teach? Not backing down when you got punched in the mouth and you're down 21. I can't teach that. You either have that or you don't, right? You're either a dog or you're not.
See, I agree, but at the same time, you can take that away from a player. Because I absolutely believe there were guys aggressive that would have played the way these guys are playing now underneath Muschamp, but Muschamp brought them down to the level that they were at. If it were not so, there wouldn't be some guys off of Muschamp's teams that actually went to the NFL.
I don't think Muschamp's issue was talent, was it? I don't think the issue was talent.
No, he appears to be a guy when he walks in the room, it's suddenly everything is taken down a degree.
After the game last week against Georgia, Will Muschamp went over and found Josh Vann. Josh Vann had a stellar game, right? Walked over and found him and said, "Oh, you started catching the football. Why'd you wait till I leave?" You know what Josh Vann said to Will Muschamp's face? "Now they're giving me the ball, coach." Now, They both started laughing about it, right? Josh started laughing. Will Muschamp started laughing. I think a lot of Will Muschamp's guys like him. I don't think it was ever that the team didn't like him. I just think he wasn't a good coach. And a good coach is not you can inspire guys to fight, right? In places that they might ordinarily not. They still got to have a fighter in them. But you can inspire guys to fight. I just don't think Will Muschamp did that. I get the impression that Shane Beamer does and can.
You can't put the dog in someone if they don't have it, but you can take the dog out. You absolutely can.
You can't put the dog inside of somebody. You know what you can do if they have the dog, though? You can make that dog more vicious. You can make that dog want to fight more. You can make that dog attack harder. And I think that's what you're looking at with Shane Beamer, right? Well, Will Muschamp, he might have had some dogs on the team, but he didn't do anything to encourage them to be dogger. Shane Beamer seems to be able to do that, at least so far. Now, the question mark becomes, can you take those dogs, Lonzo, and turn them from rabid junkyard dogs who bite everything to well-trained German shepherds that got the fight, they got the weapons, but they also know how to be disciplined and know how to do it the right way. That's where Shane Beamer's at right now. We have gone way through this metaphor, haven't we?
We have. And it's a wait and see, and we're going to find out Saturday.
Panda text into the show. Panda says Kentucky rolls by double digits. Will the truth Levi's leads the Wildcats to a big W? A doubter in the ranks. Panda says Kentucky rolls South Carolina. I don't see it. Best Kentucky team maybe ever since Jared Holy Moly Roly Poly Lorenzen was out there years ago. Maybe the best ever, though, but we'll see. Another texter says, ESPN, we scored 5 points against ourselves practically last week. It's hard to think we only allow 3 to Kentucky. I believe a lot of weird stuff, but that's just outright nutty. She's talking about the 28-3 score. I don't know. No. You're not giving up 3 to Kentucky. You're giving up 14-17 to Kentucky. All right? You're giving up 17 to Kentucky. But I think you can drop 21. If the run game's there, get Kevin Harris going early. Get Luke Doty comfortable. That's going to be the other big thing. Remember, he's only got some playtime this year, and it's against Georgia's defense, which, as Shane Beamer described, they got about 100 5-star athletes over on that side of the ball. They're really good. Damn!
Well, so expect Luke Doty to have not a shaky first quarter, but a first quarter where he doesn't believe his eyes when he sees people are actually open, as opposed to that last game he played where there were hardly anybody with even a little bit of openness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Kentucky's defense, not Georgia's defense.
Correct. Absolutely correct. All right. 844-GSP ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. The Ingles Market text line is open and live for you now. 71307 is the text line number. Want to hear from you, your thoughts on South Carolina, Kentucky. We'll do some Clemson, NC State. But next on the show, it is time. Lonzo's Fight Club, your home for all things combat sports, UFC, MMA, professional wrestling, and the like. Coming up next right here on The Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
with local personalized service. If you're looking for low rates, look to Founders. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is very easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. But services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
As the official team doctors for the Clemson Tigers and U of SC Gamecocks, Prisma Health Orthopedics can give you and your family the same care we provide top athletes. If hip and knee pain is making your daily life difficult, seek the best care. Find out if joint pain is affecting your quality of life by taking a free health assessment. Don't let hip or knee pain hold you back. Learn more at prismahealth.org/ortho.
Hey, it's Bill Donovan, General Manager of Breakaway Honda. With record sales of new Hondas, we have had a tremendous amount of cars traded in. Right now, we have our best selection of pre-owned vehicles. We have cars from $5,000 to luxury vehicles. And we have the Upstate's best selection of certified Honda.
And by the way, Stephen, the reason why you can still hear the commercials even though they're really low is because when Rob and I don't talk, the mics are picking up the commercials off the speakers.
Word.
ESPN Upstate is your home for Berlin Paladins football. The Paladins host the Mercer Bears in the Southern Conference opener this Saturday. Pregame at 12:30, kickoff at 2. Every game on ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Okay, so they did a I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series.
Okay.
So they're going to stretch that out over an entire series.
I mean, you kill off one teenager per show.
I guess. IGN is doing a video game bracket right now. And here's a couple of the choices right now. GTA San Andreas is going up against God of War.
Ooh. Ooh.
And then the other one that they have up here is Zelda Breath of the Wild versus GTA 5.
I never did Zelda.
You mean you don't want to ride a horse and play a flute? Apparently that was a big deal. Welcome into the Fight Club, where we can't absolutely. Reigns. I don't know if you've got to see this yet, Rob. This was.
Sorry, my phone decided it wanted to start making noise in the middle of your segment. That's rude.
It's okay, and I love the auto tune.
Yeah.
That was really good. So you're watching some auto tune rather than listen. You know that would make me just want to.
Big E, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns. I don't know if you got to see this yet, Rob.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a professional at multitasking.
Whatever. So. I think if Kofi was in there instead of Big E, and it just wouldn't have worked. Big E belongs there. against Bobby Lashley, against Roman Reigns. It was an excellent match. I know that there are a lot of criticisms with the WWE about having the same guys wrestle the same guys a lot. This was different because these were 3 bona fide champions, one of them the next champion, in there in the ring together. And even though Big E didn't get the victory, I thought he belonged, and I hope he doesn't lose the belt this weekend. We're going to get to that in a second. All right. Braun Breaker is a superstar in NXT. There is no way this guy makes it there, stays there for very long, unless they want him. I'm sorry, NXT 2.0. There's no way that he stays on that brand for very long. And the fact that he is Rick Steiner's kid, I didn't know this till I read it later on. All I can say is when I saw him debut, is like, where's this guy been? Have you ever seen someone just suddenly they're there and you're wondering, where did this person come from? And then you find out who they're related to and you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. I absolutely get it. If you haven't seen NXT this past week or the week before, go back and watch it. Watch Braun Breaker. All right, now let's get to last night. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. So NXT starts off with this match. Lasts nearly an hour, or at least it seems like it lasted an hour. It was very methodical. It was very, very good. It was what you would expect out of 2 of the best, if not the best, wrestlers in the world today. But it goes to a TV time limit. Are you okay with that, Rob Brown? Are you?
No, I
So
wouldn't.
weird, man.
No,
So
I
weird.
wouldn't. So here's the thing, right? And this is where we get to really kind of tread the line of kayfabe as fans, right? In real fights, there are draws all the time. There's draws all the time. And the difference between like wrestling and UFC or MMA and boxing is that there's no judges in wrestling. I've always wondered what would happen if you had an outfit that had judges and you had matches like this every now and then, right? Because Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, as the announcer loves to go, are, for most of us, if not the 2 best wrestlers in the world, 2 of the top 3 or 4, right? So it makes sense that the top 2 wrestlers in the world, neither one of them could ultimately get an upper hand, especially when that match was as brutal as it was. Those guys were working stiff, right? In kayfabe, it would make sense that every now and then 2 very evenly matched wrestlers couldn't put each other away. I think we've been trained by forever in wrestling that there's always a winner, even if it means that you have to have somebody else get involved and be dirty. I kept waiting for the rest of the elite to come down and involve themselves, which, let's be honest, is a tired thing even for AEW, right? They do that every match. They get involved. So you have the two best wrestlers in the world going at it. Nobody gets involved. It makes sense in real life that if you have the 2 best wrestlers in the world, there's a good chance neither one of them is able to put the other away. And you can't just have one match go 3 hours unless you turn it into what I suspect is going to happen. And we're going to have an Iron Man match at some point in the future.
Well, which we already just did. So what? They'll go like an extra 5 minutes.
No, but
more than
it'll
what
put
they
the
already
emphasis,
did.
or you do a 2 out of 3 falls without a time limit. I mean, hell.
Can you be a true heel though, without your manager at least interfering?
Yeah.
I mean, Callis out there and not doing anything was very, very surprising.
Here's the thing. I found it intriguing that you would have Omega, who is a heel and is a shady heel and is not above having his friends or manager do something dastardly to get a win, but it matters to him that he beats Bryan Danielson, right? Like it matters to him. Just because you're a heel doesn't mean you have to be shady every single match. It makes sense in kayfabe that Kenny Omega would care to genuinely and legitimately defeat Bryan Danielson and not be able to do it, and vice versa. The Bryan Danielson, it matters to him that he beats Kenny Omega, and he can't do it. I love it, even though I know, like, for a lot of people, because we're so trained that we have to have a winner, I love the idea that the best 2 wrestlers in the world can't get over each other. They can't do it, forcing some sort of pay-per-view special match, Iron Man, whatever, where we are going to get the two best in the world putting on a show for an hour that we all fall in love with. And I guarantee you that'll happen because these two dudes are too good for it not to.
It's like watching soccer. No, thank you. I want a winner. All right, let's go to there are two pay-per-views this weekend. WWE Extreme Rules. There's some good matches here, and then there's some that you're like, well, let's start with Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal again for like the fifth or sixth time.
I'm just glad. I'm glad to hear. No, not even being sarcastic here. I am glad to hear you say that it bothers you that we're getting the 700th version of a match because it's been a reliance.
I have never said that it didn't bother me. So, but here's the problem: when you get rid of a bunch of your roster, you're going to have going things like it. That being said,
McIntyre, they're not letting Jinder Mahal go over. I'm still stunned Jinder Mahal was champ for as long as he was. McIntyre's winning this because they're going to boost him right back into the title picture.
All right, another match that really doesn't matter, but I'm actually interested in because I like one of the contestants, Liv Morgan versus Carmella.
Liv Morgan wins. Has anybody consistently gotten as close to grabbing the brass ring as Liv Morgan without ever actually accomplishing it? This is a step, and then she's going to go.
I think kind of there too.
Mandy was there for a little while. When they paired her with Dana Brooke, I'm like, oh, she's done. Something happened backstage. She's done. Liv Morgan has consistently got to the point that it is the storyline now. I'm interested to see if they pull the trigger on Liv. I hope they do. She's good.
By the way, Ruby Soho is on Jericho's podcast this week and talking about a lot of that stuff and how they're still friends and everything. And I think that's cool. All right, SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the Usos and the Street Profits. I think they have the potential to have a pretty good rivalry as far as physicality goes. It's not going to reach the levels of the Usos and New Day, but still, it's been entertaining when they have wrestled each other. But are they willing to? Is it time for the family to go the other way? I don't think so. I'm going Usos.
I mean, this is the start of the storyline, right? Like the start of the end of the Bloodline storyline is the Usos lose the championship and Roman comes after him because Roman's not dropping his title this week either. So if they decide to go that way, I don't know if they do. I think that's going to be the lead up to WrestleMania. So I'm going to say Usos win.
All right. The United States Championship is a triple threat match. Damian Priest, Sheamus, and Jeff Hardy. I think they put Jeff Hardy in there because of all the backlash they got from burying him, having him going after the 24/7 title. I think this is kind of a sympathy thing, throwing him in there. But there's no way Damian Priest loses this. I'm going Damian Priest.
Put Jeff Hardy in there to have somebody eat the pin without having to pin it on Archer or Sheamus, right? And Sheamus is a guy that's not afraid to take a 3 count to let somebody else go over. But I suspect that feud's not over either. Even though I got to tell you, I like Priest and I like Sheamus. The feud bores me a little bit, but yeah, I agree. Damian Archer wins.
Damian Priest. Same thing. It's the same thing. He's the Archer of infamy. So, all right. Raw Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. A lot of backlash over their Raw segment. Some saying people were leaving. Alexa saying no, they weren't. They were cheering. I will tell you, watching it's kind of dead till the end, till they started getting personal. I love Charlotte Flair. Alexa Bliss's gimmick it's not working the way they thought it would, which is a surprise because everything they do works so well. You know what? I think Alexa Bliss surprises everybody and wins the belt.
I want to say you're right. You know what? I'm going to say you're right. And I'm going to say you're right because from what I'm gathering, Vince was the one that was like, let's give Braun's gimmick to Alexa. It hasn't worked, but you know how he feels when things don't work. It just makes him want to do it harder. Alexa wins just because they're trying to push the gimmick over, not Alexa Bliss, which is too bad because she's very good.
Which, by the way, Vince was right when it comes to Roman Reigns. It just took him a while to get there. All right. Speaking of Roman Reigns versus the Demon. The Demon has never lost, if I understand correctly. You know what? The Undertaker hadn't lost at WrestleMania either till he did. But Lesnar, he's out there just waiting. What are they going to do with that? You know what? I'm going Demon wins, and then Lesnar gets to go against the Demon, and they let Lesnar beat the Demon, and then Roman gets it back from Lesnar. So I'm going Demon.
I don't know. I mean, I guess this is set up in that it's finally an interesting match that I genuinely don't know who the winner is. Like I can't see where it's going. Brock could get involved and cost Roman the title, which sets up. And on top of that, like just because the Demon Finn Balor is back doesn't mean he sticks around. Like usually we used to see the Demon at NXT, and even when he showed up as like it was a special thing. Like once or twice a year, he came out as the Demon Finn Balor. The fact that he brought it back makes me think that he wins this match. Do you go Demon versus Brock? I don't know. So give me Roman just because I got to pick something different here.
And that's the first one that we picked differently.
One of us has to win and one of us has to lose. So I'll take Roman so that we have a winner on Monday.
All right, one last match. You won't be here, but still. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Does Bianca get the belt back after losing in 26 seconds, getting squashed, which was just ridiculous?
Yep, I agree.
And is it time to give it to her yet, or does she still have to work for it to make it mean even more? Is this pay-per-view worth putting it on Bianca? I say yes. I say they give it back to her.
No, I don't. I think Becky. So we may end up tying anyway. No, I think Becky retain. Look, they're trying to push Becky as a heel, right? And what I don't think they're trying to make her Lady Steve Austin, right? That's what they want ultimately. And what they don't understand is that we didn't like Steve Austin because he was a heel. We liked Steve Austin because he was his own dude, and we lived vicariously through that. They're trying to make her Stone Cold Steve Austin with the premise of the Man, which I love. I love the nickname the Man. I think it's great. But what they don't understand is that we didn't like Becky Lynch in her first run as the Man because she was a heel. We liked her because she was Becky Lynch and she was her own woman and she stood on her own and did what she wanted, whether it lined up with the authorities or not. But now they've got her doing all the old Becky Lynch wouldn't have left the ring after being challenged to a fight by Bianca on SmackDown. She'd have stood right, or on Raw. She'd have stood right there and fought her that night and won. And this Becky Lynch is like, no, we fight on my terms. That's not what we liked about Becky Lynch in the first place. But because they're trying so hard to make her heel, she retains. Cheating, though. She cheats. Which, again, was never what we liked about Becky Lynch. Vincent.
Well, that whole we thing, you're just talking about that side, because I liked Becky Lynch before all this stuff. Once she started taking up the Man thing, I thought it was lame. All right. And it's not the contrarian in me, although it does exist. I never liked it. There's worship that went along with it, where if you didn't like Becky as the Man, well, you were weird. And I get the side eye from Rob just even mentioning that I don't like the gimmick. And that's what I'm talking. That kind of stuff just creeps me out a little bit. All right.
A gimmick. It was a nickname.
It's a gimmick.
No gimmick. She didn't come out as a man. She just said, I'm the Man.
It's a gimmick.
Which is a very common phrase that people say.
The Man does twirls. Anyway, so there is a pay-per-view this weekend for UFC. And the question is this card good enough for you to skip college football for? There's some pretty big names on here fighting. Is this the one where you go, okay, I'm going to DVR college football and I'm going to watch this UFC bout? And I don't think it is for me, even though there's some pretty good matches on here, including Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler. And Nick Diaz is ticked because he thinks he should be going for the belt, even though, I mean, how often does he actually fight? You also got number 4 ranked Curtis Blades going up against Jairzinho Rosenstruck. I can never say Rosenstruck's first name right. Valentina Shevchenko, to me, the best fighter in the UFC, is going up against Lauren Murphy. And then for the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. So you've just heard also Jessica Andrade is fighting on the main card. So you've just heard the main card. Is it enough for you to skip college football to watch?
As a fan, it's one of these nights that I'm very glad that I have 4 TVs in my living room, right? Like now, I will skip a game. I will have football on multiple TVs, and I will take off one game to put it on because it's a good card. Arguably the best. Is it the best UFC card of the year? I think it is.
So far, yes.
I think it's the best UFC card of the year. I will skip out on a game. Like I would probably skip the late night Pac-10 game in order to watch this card instead.
Well, chances are, so if you're watching the 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock game, it's winding down as this thing's getting started. So yeah, you're missing you're missing Pac-12. You're probably not missing because you can have it on 2 TVs and see the earlier bouts, but the main stuff with the big names are not going to happen until probably 11:30.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you're right.
I would let's even see. Let's see what is the late game on Saturday. The late games on Saturday are Colorado at Arizona State, Oregon State at USC, and Arizona at Oregon, South Florida at BYU, and Cal at Washington. Those are 10:30, 10:30, 10:30, 10:15, 9:30. Yeah, there's none of those that I would say are more important than a very good UFC card.
Chances are I wasn't going to watch any of those games anyway.
Exactly.
So it's probably UFC for me.
I'll watch Arizona, Oregon just because they're the number 3 team in the country, and there's a playoff spot opening if they lose. South Florida at BYU. I mean, South Florida got punked by NC State. I'm not really intrigued by that. So no, I think the card goes first. I do. Texter, real quick, Lonzo, 30-second answer. Texter says, does Nick Diaz coming off a 5-year hiatus beat Robbie Lawler?
When's the last time Robbie Lawler fought?
That's a good point.
I mean, so it's good. Lawler's going to be entertaining. Diaz is going to be entertaining. I got Diaz, though. He's going to win.
Yeah, I agree. Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate.
Every time I think of Lawler, I just think of that one fight. Was it Condit? I can't remember who he was fighting, to where they both ended up in the hospital and you just couldn't recognize his face at all. Yeah. And it's just like that dude's face
is
just got beat off.
Yeah.
It's just, that was so bad.
Yeah.
Offers from wrist surgery.
Non-surgical joint pain relief. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's 448-3772.
Now that commission-free trading is the norm, it's time to rethink how we define value. Value is more than a price tag. It's the confidence of knowing you have a team of traders on standby to answer any question. It's thinkorswim's charting and analysis tools, and it's a personalized education to fine-tune your skills. Value is becoming smarter with every commission-free online equity trade. Discover true value with TD Ameritrade, where smart investors get smarter.
The motto for world-class competition has always been faster, higher, stronger. It's the same for Navient, makers of condensing tankless water heaters. Faster to install and set up. Higher performance and efficiency to provide endless hot water. Stronger with the industry's strongest warranty. All because of the copper-free stainless steel heat exchanger built in every unit. Learn about Navient's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navient contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com. That's tanklessmadesimple.com.
For the ones who are always in the know. For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Granger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Experienced staff at local branches and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call us at Granger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
The original Peloton bike offers more motivation. 70% of members say they work out more now with Peloton than before. Get game-changing cardio at a new game-changing original Peloton bike, $400 less. Learn more at onepeloton.com. It's been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. DraftKings is putting new customers in the center of the action with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Get in on the action now. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Feel the NFL action like never before with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings app now and use code PLAY. This week, new customers can get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Enter code PLAY to get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with your first deposit. That's code PLAY. Only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL.
They visit Davis Mills and the Texans. Carolina sacked Zach Wilson and the Jets 6 times in week 1. Ohio State coach Ryan Day telling 97.1 The Fan quarterback C.J. Stroud won't play against Akron Saturday because of a shoulder injury. Kyle McCord or Jack Miller will start for the 10th-ranked Buckeyes. Stroud is the emergency QB. Penguin center Benny Malkin will miss at least the first 2 months of the NHL season as he recovers from knee surgery. So that means
Mad World in the last break.
without its 2 biggest stars, as captain Sidney Crosby is also out as he recovers from wrist surgery.
Rapidly rushing towards the end of the show. Rob Alonzo and you. It is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. So we gave you our picks for the weekend. NC State, Clemson. You know, Diesel and I talked last week when I was filling in on all sides, Lonzo, about what Clemson needed to do if they wanted any chance. I got to tell you, I made the proclamation, and I'll say it here as well. I don't think there's a path back into the playoffs for Clemson unless there's just anarchy, like multiple losses for teams above them. I don't think there's a path in for them. I don't think it matters what they do now. They got the loss to Georgia, a big win, but the majority of us viewed the win over South Carolina State as underwhelming. And then you almost found a way to blow it against Georgia Tech at home. That is a game that a lot of analysts are going to look at the end of the year and go, there's no excuses for that. I don't think there is a way back into the playoffs for Clemson. I think they're pretty much on the outside. But if there is some fraction of a percentage chance that they can find their way back in, they have to decimate NC State. They have to decimate an NC State team that lost on the road to Mississippi State. They have to slaughter NC State. Lonzo, I got them winning and covering the 10.5 point spread, but they need to go win this game by 35 points if they want a chance.
I agree. The thing is, the Georgia loss, while it's a loss, is still to Georgia. And the fact that Georgia is playing so well, that's one thing. If Clemson comes back the next couple of weeks and they just dominate the teams they play, then the Georgia loss doesn't seem nearly as bad. But they haven't done that. And Clemson has looked like they looked, I don't know, a decade ago, where you were not certain if they were going to win some games when they should. And that's not a good thing. And it's not just the quarterback. They need a running game. There's some things that they really need to do. The defense is fine, but they got to get this offense fixed. And you're right. They need to dominate some teams to have a consideration, even if the playoff committee says that doesn't factor in. It absolutely factors in. It's an eye test thing. When you expect a team to do something to another team and they effectively look like they struggled, that's not good for the eye test.
No, they let's be real. They've already failed the eye test. All right. Clemson's already failed the eye test. Does anybody look at Clemson and go, that's a championship team? Nobody that matters does. All right. When I say matters, I mean in terms of putting them into the playoff. You guys matter. You know that. You're all special to me. I love you. Nobody that would put them into the playoff, that has the power to put them in the playoff, thinks that Clemson has passed the eye test. Hell, most of the Clemson fans don't think Clemson has passed the eye test. All right. I saw a Clemson fan on Facebook the other day tell a friend of mine who is a Gamecock inspired that they are very glad that South Carolina's at the end of the season and not right now. Okay. Nobody with any power is putting Clemson as an eye test pass as of right now. You better go win this game by 35 points. You better blow NC State out of the water, and I don't know if they can right now. They didn't win by 2 touchdowns, but I think it'll be a fight to get to 2 touchdowns. That's not going to do it for you.
How do you fix it? I mean, I don't know. I think it's been an embarrassment of riches. The quarterbacks that you've had in the past have been, I mean, one after the other, really, really good. DJ's not bad. He's just not on the level of those other guys. And I think the expectations for him, he's finally starting to realize what real expectations are at a school like this that's been in the playoffs so many years in a row. And that's a lot of pressure for anybody.
All right. 844-477-3776, Texas 71307. Big D writes in, he said, Clemson homer here. I think NC State beats Clemson. That offensive line is the weakest link, end quote. Thinks NC State beats Clemson? I can't go that far. Right? NC State's not much better than Georgia Tech.
Well,
it is on the road.
As a non-Clemson fan, I hope that happens, but in reality, I don't believe it will.
Same.
But we'll see.
Same. Not the I hope they win. I hope they win every game. I hope South Carolina wins every game. I hope Panthers win every game because I make more money. But they're not losing to NC State. All right. I go ahead and chalk that one up. They're not losing. I'll take whatever bet you want. They're not losing to NC State. Twitter trending topics next to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Matt World.
Tell you about Mad World Haunted Attraction. They are open now with all new horrifying rooms, scares, carnival games, escape rooms, mini golf, and more. They are voted consistently one of America's top haunts and the #1 haunt in South Carolina. And this year is bigger and scarier than ever, full of dark woods, incredible set design, special effects, and top-notch actors. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Whether you're a kid, a teenager, or a big kid at heart, you are going to have a blast this year with their biggest interactive set ever. It's going to showcase their most expansive haunt experience to date with one of the most technical and immersive haunt sets in the entire U.S. More scenes, more actors, and more scares, plus the brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. It is scary entertainment for all ages, including families, adults, teenagers, and the adrenaline junkie in your family. Tickets are available now online at madworldattractions.com. madworldattractions.com. Don't wait until Halloween weekend to go and have to wait in a long line. Get your tickets now. And remember, those no scare medallions are available for you as well. Go to madworldattractions.com. madworldattractions.com. It's the 2021 version of Mad World. Oh.
Play-by-play of the biggest games from Major League Baseball's best. Including the playoffs and the World Series.
Enjoy the taste of summer too. Amazing hand-tossed pies, cool, crisp salads, and over 100 tours from around the world. Hello, Mushroom. Wanting us to eat and do what's best in it.
Hey, it's ESPN Upstate's Mark Ryan. Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with Mark Ryan. This Thursday will be at 502 Ann Street in Pickens. Brought to you by Ingles Markets on ESPN Upstate.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You can save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching.
Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was not at practice today. Jackson said yesterday that his hip was sore from landing on his touchdown flip. That's from Shefty.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs. How do your clients know that? Because Fisher
I shouldn't
Investments
smile at that.
the highest standard
I shouldn't. And
Right.
I have no problem with celebrations, but things that you hurt yourself on, that's just stupid. I mean, it's not like a Grammatica headbutt or something, but it's still it's not good. You're gonna flip in the end zone. Don't act like you're trying to clear the bar on a high jump. It's just not necessary.
Do you know who's producing tonight?
That would be Drew. He came in yesterday, and Stoneman walked him through it. Stoneman's also going to be in studio with him, and then he's going to leave to come to the bowling alley at like 6:30. So he'll be there to help get him started.
So he leaves at 6:30.
But, I mean, he worked with Drew before. He should be fine.
Yeah.
It's just a new room for him.
Yeah.
Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no coverage, and get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
It didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/AutoNavigator.
This report is sponsored
Anthony Mackie closes a deal for Captain America 4. So we're getting a Cap Falcon movie.
I thought he already did that. I thought that's.
The Nerdist reported that.
Huh. All right, time for Twitter trending topics. Abbreviated version. Kevin Durant is trending.
So there was a big rumor that was going around that there was some potential for a trade to have happened within the Nets organization. Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN he believed that the Nets would have traded Kyrie Irving for Ben Simmons because Simmons says he's done in Philly. Him and Doc Rivers are on the splits. He's out. He'll never play another game for Philly. And Stephen A. Smith reported that Kevin Durant is the one who shut that down and made the call, told Nets GM Sean Marks that he's not interested in Ben Simmons being there, and it has lit Twitter on fire because Stephen A. Smith then said, whoa, hold on a minute. I never said that there were trade talks. And it's like, dude, that's literally what you said, Stephen. Literally what you said.
The other reason why he's trending is SI has put out their top 100 basketball players of 20 of this season coming up. Kevin Durant is number 1. Giannis is number 2.
Ooh.
LeBron is number 3.
Okay.
And Steph is number 4.
Not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. There's going to be some fights on Twitter about it, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, me either.
I'm not saying I love it. Texas says, guys, Lesnar interferes and keeps the Demon from winning. South Carolina 27, UK 24, Clemson 26, NC State 27. My man went 3 picks in one text. You got to love it.
Right at the end. Way to go.
Love it. All right, that does it for us. Lonzo and I, we out. Diesel and Mark Ryan, They in. Mark's live at Ingles and Pickens. Make sure you go say, hey. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. This was the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. Do some work and head out. Thank you, stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you hanging out.